So we're like, you training? He's like, yeah, like, I'm training a little bit, but I'm just still lifting. The dude, we found out, didn't train at all for the marathon. Didn't run at all and just went out there and crushed the marathon. And that's James Develin.
Standing 6'3" and weighing 255 pounds.
Ooh, big guy.
This undrafted fullback carved out a hard-nosed NFL career built on grit and versatility. He grew up in Pennsylvania, starred at Boyertown High School, where he earned all league honors as a linebacker, and went on to play defensive line at Brown University.
Smart guy.
Earning all Ivy League recognition. He was a smart guy, I can tell you that. I shared a room with him my whole career. Very, very smart. I don't think he ever made a mistake. Well, let's get back to this. In the pros, he switched to fullback, becoming a Pro Bowler and 3-time Super Bowl champion. He is widely regarded as one of the premier fullbacks of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, James Develin.
Let's get on James Develin.
We got to ask you why James Develin.
I picked James, one, because I think he did all the dirty work and didn't get a lot of the credit. And that's a fullback, kind of like, and I feel like fullbacks, no offense, Rob, I do think you were kind of an honorary offensive lineman the way you blocked, but you also made a lot of big plays. Fullbacks don't make the plays. And so you really are an honorary offensive lineman. And this guy just, how he approached everything, I used to be my favorite thing watching him work out. And then we became really close in 2019.
What is it? Remember James Develin would just bring the smelling salts? Oh, I need a little pick-me-up.
I remember one day I was done with my workout. You know these are illegal now?
Ooh.
They're not illegal. They just can't be given to you by the team.
Ooh, that's strong.
That's what James Develin used to do in the weight room.
That felt good. Waking up my sinuses.
Give you a little shot of life. But yeah, no, I mean, just
Right
the way
there, we're
James,
passing it on.
where James did everything, the way he attacked the weight room, way he attacked his career. And I didn't really know how he got there. When I got there in 15, didn't know him that well. He broke his ankle, or leg in Carolina preseason 3. So he was hurt all year, had surgery. So I just didn't know him. And, and then 2016, he was obviously back and I was watching him and I'm just like, dude, this dude's a psychopath. And then he actually ended up being my neighbor, which was awesome. And he had a family. I didn't have kids yet, but his boys, I love playing with his boys in the yard. And it was just like, I don't know, it was awesome to see him as like a dad and them wrestling and playing. And then in 2019, we both were hurt that year and we trained together. And that was probably the dumbest thing I ever decided to do.
Why?
This dude, the workouts this dude would come up with. So like you guys doing your own thing. We train at like 5 a.m. We did crazy things. But we both like couldn't, because I had the blood clot. So like my training was weird. He had a neck thing, so he couldn't lift heavy. So we were just doing like weird workouts, but like we'd do one in the morning and then after lunch or like break time before practice, he's all getting ready. He'd be like, all right, we're going to do a 30-minute shadow boxing lesson in the shower.
In the shower?
Not shower, sauna.
I'm about to say, whoa, pie!
That would have been bad. But he would be like, we're going to do a 30-minute lesson in the shower, and then we're going to go run 30 hills. I'd be like, dude, I was dying trying to keep up with this guy, but it was super fun for me because I didn't have anything to challenge me that year. So, and just the way the dude cracked skulls, like there was nothing like it. And
nothing.
Just laid it on the line each week for us. And my favorite thing would be like if we, we'd sometimes start in like 21 personnel and then we'd break to 5 wide and go to like 74. And like 2 times a year, like they wouldn't cover him or they just like play off and he'd catch like an 8-yard hitch route. I used to love that.
Loved it.
That used to get me so fired up. But he's everything you'd want in a football player and everything more importantly you want in a fullback.
And in a teammate.
Yes, 100%. He was a great teammate. And I had no idea how he got to the league until I got to know him.
Yeah.
Because you feel like when you come to the NFL, like, it's like, yeah, everyone's drafted, and that's not always the case. And so when I started to get to know him, went to Brown, played D in there, then went to the Arena League. Yeah. I think he played in the UFL, then to Cincy, and then came to New England and then made a great career in New England. I mean, that's how, talk about taking advantage of your opportunities. That was something I was trying to do my rookie year. Like he lived it all, did it all. And people are like, oh yeah, you were undrafted. I'm like, yeah, it was not as much of a grind as like someone like this guy. AFL, UFL. Like when did the UFL? What was that for a year?
And with the dying position at fullback as well. I shared a room with James Develin his whole entire career with New England. He was one of the most unselfish players I've ever been around.
What do you mean shared a room with him?
I mean, I was in the tight end room. He was
a
fullback, but he was in the tight end room.
Didn't you live together?
No, we never lived together, but we were in the same meeting room from morning to night. In every single meeting room, it would start off with the tight ends, and we would go in the offensive room to be with, the wide receivers, with the skill players, and then we would be together in the team room. It was James Develin and I in every single room his whole entire career. And he was the most unselfish player out there, one of the smartest players as well. I don't think he's rarely ever made a mistake in his career. He's never went to the wrong guy. And for example, if I went to the wrong guy, if I went up to the second level and I took the wrong linebacker, he would make me right and make me look good. And I always appreciated that. In the room as well, he never caused any controversy, ever. Zero at all. One of the best teammates you can possibly have. And he also made me a better player as well. When you were talking about it, I blocked, but then I got the credit for going out and making a big play. But where did I make all my money? I made all my money in the play action game. And that's when I got the most open, because all the linebackers would step up and then Tom would just dip it to me. And then I would just make a couple guys miss and get 25 yards, bam, right off the bat like that. Why was I so open? Yes, I was blocking. You guys were doing your job as well. But when you have a fullback in the game as well, that you gotta... you got to respect that. He's going to bring the heat every single time he's in there, and he's going to run full speed downhill and give it his all and lay his body on the line every time. You respect that. So every time they would say, oh, James Develin's in, it's going to be a run, Yeah, why wouldn't they run the ball? One of the best fullbacks in the league. And boom, we would play action off of that. But he would still go full speed downhill, and it would get me open because the linebackers were nervous that he was in. So without James Develin in, it boosted my stats in the pass game because of him and how hard he went and how good he was at the fullback position.
As an O-lineman, we ran a lot of inside lead plays with James, right? Like him mano-a-mano with the linebacker. And I used to always love, and it's not like it's hard to explain. You guys will know what I mean, but like when you can feel people around you. Yeah. So we run, it'd be an A-gap to A-gap run. So a lot of times I'm at the opponent attack. You would feel like a good block, and then you could feel James going by you, and you knew the play was
wind.
You knew the play was going to be a good play. You just felt him, because you knew he was going to go stick that linebacker, and it was going to be a good play. And then, honestly, I felt invincible on the goal line with James Develin. Yeah. Like, if we did our job, there was no worry about what was going to happen with James Develin and the linebacker, which, to me, it's a missing part of the game in the NFL right now. And I do think you're seeing it come back a little bit. Like, there may be more tight endish, but like I think San Diego last year had like two dudes that were like 350.
Baltimore.
Seen Baltimore do it a little bit. Like, it's coming back that these fullbacks, and they're valuable in the run game because it creates mismatches. And I don't know, just you see a guy in a 3-point stance in the backfield ready to go. It's just like, it's go time now. And as offensive lineman, I didn't mind sub runs, but if we were going to run the ball, I wanted to have a fullback because it creates, especially as an offensive lineman, when you can put a defense in base defense, there's not much they can do. And there's not much they can do coverage wise. There's not much they can do disguise wise. So I think it helped out you guys too.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like you can't run all these substituted fronts with a fullback in the game.
There's countless times where, because we had such smart football players, James Develin, where we would be in a 3 tight personnel, put him out wide, and it creates such crazy matchups for the two receivers on the field. So, I mean, he was just a smart football player that everyone loved. He was never heard. He was always seen. And I remember when he moved on and he retired, I told Yak, I said, hey, bro, go sit down and watch fucking James Develin. I want you to watch every hit this guy does. He looks like he's concussioning himself every time he hits. And that's how it has to look if you want to be a fucking fullback in this league. I'm sorry. You can't have brain cells. You need to set the tempo for the fucking offense, because when James Develin got on that field, People knew
What
it
it
was
was.
serious time.
Anyone can kind of go in and run full speed at a defender one time, and then you walk away like, oh, shit, I ain't ever doing that again. He was consistent on a daily basis. He never backed down, no matter what. Even if he was feeling shitty that day,
each other out every time
he was running full speed downhill and absolutely smacking whatever linebacker it was. He never backed down, and that's what made him such a great football player at that position, is never, ever backing down.
You know what used to piss me off? So we used to do half line, right? Half line was a war. They never put a fullback in at half line. And I would just be like, please let him get one rep and watch what happens right now. When we don't have to worry about this linebacker. Watch what happens when James Develin walks in there.
All right, we got to wrap this and determine what kind of dude James Develin is. But before that, last question. What kind of car is James Develin?
What kind of car? You know, I'm not going to say he's like an old farm truck, because I think he's a better athlete than that.
Yeah.
But he's like a nice Ford F1. I'm a Ford guy, so I'm going to do this. Like a 4-year-old F-150, 80,000 miles on it. Still in good shape. Like always dependable, but like not like flashy, like not a truck you're like worried about taking in the mud. You know, can get dirty, but you can also take your girl out on a date, clean it up with. It's got a little bit of style to it, but like also you're not worried about if you go out in the woods with it.
I might have
get dirty.
Alter it a little bit. You're just saying he's an F-150. I think he might be like an F-350.
That's a lineman, though. He's probably like an F-250.
Yeah, F-250. We'll give him 250. He weighed 250 pounds.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the 250.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, like, you could hook
but not extended cab. He's not that big.
No, you can hook a trailer to it, but you can also take it out. My favorite James Develin story, and this is not football related, but this is just who he was. He was running the marathon like after he retired, and so we're talking. He was a huge dude. Y'all know how he squatted and weightlifted. We were like, James, you training? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, what are you doing? You know, like, because all these people have all these crazy training methods, you know, right? It's like you run 5, 8, 12, whatever it is. The day before you run like 19 miles. So we're like, you training? He's like, yeah, like, you know, I'm training a little bit, but I'm just still lifting. The dude, we found out, didn't train at all for the marathon. Didn't run at all, and just went out there and crushed the marathon. And that's James Develin. Just like I can do it. Mind over matter. Doesn't matter. I'm going to get the job done.
All right. I like that. And so that segues perfect to what kind of dude is James Develin. Now, David, we have 5 different categories. Yeah. We have a stud, someone who's had the pedigree, who was always the guy. He's well-rounded. When you see him, he looks like, damn, that guy's a fucking stud. You got a freak where you look at those kind of humans, you're like, they're not humans. They are just like, what the hell is that? That looks like an animal. A dog, someone who's relentless, mentally, physically tough, probably had to go the long road. A whiz, someone who's, you know, innovative. He's clutch. He may have revolutionized something in his type of the game. Or the dude's dude, which is the guy who's a glue guy in the locker room. Everyone loves him in the locker room. Now, James Develin is probably multiple of these.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's...
But what's most fitting for James Develin?
There's 3 that I would be in between: the stud, the dog, and the dude. Because I thought he was a great locker room guy. Like, he was always there, dependable. He never got too high, too low. You know, so he's calm, cool, collective. Positive attitude. Like, I think when you went and worked out in the weight room with James, you wanted to go harder, right? You wanted to train harder, you know. But I think you got to go the position he played, how he played the position, his way his career path went. You got to say dog.
He's definitely 100%
dog.
He's a 1,000%.
He's a stud.
He's a freak.
But the thing
especially
is,
in the weight room.
The stud is the guy who's drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
The stud is the guy who was the 5-star
and I don't think he innovated the game. What I think he did is honored the game and played the game the right way by like the people that came before him. So like he wasn't innovative in that sense, but he honored those guys because the fullback had been around for 100 years, right? Whatever. But like he honored those guys the way he played the game. He was an old school 1980, 70 fullback. But, you know, innovation-wise, no. But, you know, that
he was a D lineman.
Yeah.
He went to Brown.
He
innovated. Too smart to be a football player. Yeah. No, he's a fucking dog. On 3, 1, 2, 3, dog.